In a small, windswept village by the sea, lived an old fisherman named Arion. While his colleagues returned with boats heavy with silver fish, Arion's nets were always empty. He was a living ghost on the docks, his bad luck a running joke among the other fishermen. "Look, here comes Arion the fish charmer," they would jeer, holding up their plentiful catch. "He charms the fish away from his nets and into ours." Arion would only offer a weary smile, his gaze fixed on the horizon, hoping the next dawn would change his fate. His boat was a patchwork of repairs, and his home was a simple hut where the wind whistled through the cracks. Hunger was a constant, unwelcome guest. One morning, driven by a quiet desperation, Arion sailed his rickety boat further than ever before into the deep, uncharted waters where the sea turned from blue to a mysterious dark indigo. He cast his net, his heart a knot of hope and despair. For hours, nothing. The sun began to dip low, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple. As he prepared to pull in his empty net one last time, he felt a sudden, immense weight. It wasn't the thrashing of a large fish, but a dead, heavy pull. With all his strength, he hauled the net aboard. Inside, nestled among the seaweed, was a single small fish, but it was unlike any he had ever seen. It shone with the brilliance of 1,000 suns, a goldfish, with scales that seemed to be crafted from pure, polished gold. It was too beautiful to sell, and strangely it didn't struggle. Arion gently placed it in a bucket of seawater and sailed home under the stars, a sense of wonder warming his old bones. That night, as the fish swam serenely in its bucket, Arion noticed it hadn't eaten the breadcrumbs he'd offered. He gently lifted the golden creature to inspect it, and as he did, its mouth opened slightly. Something small and hard fell into his palm. It wasn't a stone. It was a diamond, raw and brilliant, catching the faint moonlight and fracturing it into 100 tiny rainbows. He stared, his heart pounding. He gently pressed the fish's belly, and another diamond dropped, then another. The fish was not a living creature, but a miraculous vessel, filled with a fortune beyond his wildest dreams. Overnight, Arion's life transformed. He sold a single diamond and bought a new, sturdy boat, the finest nets, and repaired his home until it was snug and warm. He ate full meals and slept without the gnawing ache of hunger. But his sudden fortune brought a new kind of trouble. The villagers, especially his old colleagues, looked at him with suspicion. "Where did a luckless old man get such coin?" they'd whisper. "He must be a smuggler or a thief." Their mockery turned to a venomous, smiling jealousy. They would follow him, trying to uncover his secret, their greed a shadow that clung to him. Arion felt more isolated than ever. The joy of his discovery was tainted by the distrust in the eyes of those around him. He had escaped poverty, but found himself trapped in a prison of suspicion. One day, the most arrogant of his colleagues cornered him on the docks. "We know you found a treasure, old man," he sneered. "The sea belongs to all of us. You owe us a share." Arion looked at their greedy faces, the same faces that had laughed at his suffering, and he felt a profound sadness. He realized the diamonds had brought him comfort, but not happiness. That night he took the golden fish and the remaining diamonds and locked them away in a heavy chest. The next morning he went out in his new boat, but he didn't sail to the deep waters. He stayed in the familiar shallows, casting his new nets. He caught a modest haul of shimmering mackerel. When he returned to the dock, he saw a family, as poor as he once was, mending their tattered net. Without a word, Arion gave them half his catch. He used his money not for himself, but to quietly help the village. He funded the repair of the old seawall, gave a loan to a young fisherman to buy his first boat, and ensured the widows of the village always had food. Slowly, the suspicion in the village was replaced by respect, and then by genuine affection. They no longer called him Arion the fish charmer as a joke, but as a title of honor. He still fished every day, finding a simple joy in the rhythm of the waves and the pull of the net. He learned that the golden fish hadn't just given him diamonds. It had given him a choice. He could have drowned in his wealth, isolated and miserable. Instead, he had used it to find something far more precious, a purpose, a community, and a quiet, unshakable peace. His greatest treasure wasn't the gold or the diamonds, but the life he had built after finding them.